We all can feel like the silence is protecting us, but there is those people that are suffering in your silence. They're waiting to hear your voice. They need your words of life. And if you don't speak them, no one else can and no one else will. Somebody needs the very thing that you know you need to say today. And today is your day to speak it. Hi, my name is Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 39 books and counting. I've had the amazingly wonderful privilege of helping folks write, publish, market their books to bestseller, and so many other things that go beyond that. But what I really do, what I'm really here for, is to help you find your voice, to give voice to the voiceless, to help turn your mess into a message, and to really release you with the clarity that shows up and makes the powerfully amazing, absolutely wonderful difference in this world, in your life, and in everything that you do on a day to day, as well as a week to week, and even a month to month basis. I'm here for you today because I need to speak, and I want to be an example to you of me speaking so that you don't suffer in my silence, and so that you can see it as an example of how people are sometimes suffering in your silence, and how your speaking out allows them to be in the place where they need to be. I want that for you. I hope you will really dive in with me here for the next few minutes. Um, and let's really talk about the whole concept of somebody suffering in your silence. You've heard me say it before. Many of you have probably heard me say that, but I really want to really focus on this. Um, as some of you know, and those of you that didn't hear me announce this last week, I do have a situation that both on Mondays and Thursdays now, I'm still going to be here in the noon hour, but it'll be closer to 12:30 when I come in. And that's totally fine. I just want to be consistent and predictable for you. Because I don't want you to suffer in my silence. I don't want you to feel the stress, the pressure, the worry, or worse yet, not live your best or be in the place of living your best because I'm not speaking and I'm not saying the things that you need and that I'm meant to do in this world. And to do it consistently, regularly, all those kind of things. I'm even looking already because I know that I've got a trip coming up here in a couple of weeks. And I'm already looking at how can I, even on the train, how can I still make sure that I show up in that noon hour? Because I know that that's important. And I wouldn't want anybody who that would be the day that they absolutely can connect with me, that I'm not there and that they miss out. Now, I don't want to say any of these things to you to stress you out, to judge you, to put you in a place of any of those negative emotions, judgment, lack, fear, worry, any of those kind of things. I want to rather instead have everything we talk about today empower you. I want you to see, because I see your heart. Okay, we talk about the 3 C's: connection, consistency, and clarity. Connection is your heart. It's about you having that deep, heartfelt desire to want to connect, not even just beyond need to want to connect, to know that you have something that needs to be said. Now, as I was thinking about this, I was thinking, often I think the person that we see suffering in our silence um, is somebody way off. Somebody deepest, darkest Africa used to be, what we were always talking about in church, about becoming a missionary and reaching all the people in deepest, darkest Africa. But I want to bring this home a little bit more for you. And this just really came to me just before we get started here. You know who's suffering in your silence right now? You. Let me say that again. A little bit more clearer, a little bit cleaner. The person that is suffering in your silence is you. You not saying the thing, you not speaking up, your ears not hearing it is causing you to suffer. All of the reasons that we give ourselves that are all of the, yeah, but this reason and that reason and this and that and the blah, 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 right? They all keep us from being in that sweet spot that is just simply being the best you that you can be while it's called today. And so we stay silent. We don't say the thing because, somebody else told us not to. Our head trash gets in the way. And we start thinking all these things and we don't just simply speak. And it's really simple. We pick up our phone and we just simply go, hey, my name is blah, and I want to talk to you about. Okay. Now, the formal version of this, I've given it to you before, is, hi, my name is, what I do is, and what I'd like to talk to you about today is. But you don't have to be that formal. You can come on and go, hey, did you know blah, blah, blah. Could be 5 seconds. One of the most powerful shorts that I ever did, and I've talked to you about this before. I was actually literally at the hospital getting ready for a procedure and, walked out of the waiting room, went into the little entry area, and I just simply picked it up and I said, you're amazing and you're great and you've got this. And I don't know exactly that's what I said, but that was the general gist of it. 5 seconds, boom, and then the next person walked in the door and I was done. I just had about that long of, the little entry area that I was in of quiet. And then it was time to move on to the next thing. And so many people replied to that. Ministers, they're saying, so many people said to me, in this particular case, I know that it touched so many people because they said it did. They liked it. They gave it a heart. They said, thanks, I really needed this. And yet, all too often, we find ourselves really looking at, well, how necessary is that? I really kind of dig where we are right now in the world with social media, because what really converts the best are reels and shorts. Okay. It's a short on YouTube. It's called a reel on Instagram. It's also called a reel on Facebook. There isn't the ability to be able to segment out things like that. LinkedIn currently doesn't kind of sort of have that same kind of thing. What really works, by the way, just as a side note on LinkedIn, is actually LinkedIn live events, and they're voice only. So, again, it's just a way of speaking it. But I love that we're in that space where, for the most part, shorts is really what people want to, and they just want to watch them. And the funny part about it is, we talk about attention span and all those kind of things, and it is kind of like flashing, moving lights on the screen, and it changes constantly. But it's also interesting to see how statistically, how long people will sit and watch one reel after another, over and over and over, and just watch it, And I love that we're in that space, because it really takes away one of the major objections that people have given for years. And that's, I don't have the time. You could literally, okay, you got a next appointment to go to, okay? Or you drive, you got to drive to work and you can't be on live video on your phone at work. Or you got to drive home from work and you have a rule that everybody sets their phones off to the side and spends quality family time together at dinner. Okay. All of those are valid. You could literally sit in your car, while it's warming up or before you started, either way, pick up the phone and just be like, hey, how are you doing today? What could I do for you? It could be that simple. That whole process, that whole concept of how can I help you today? And because I'm talking about that person that's suffering in your silence, You reaching out like that will do more for you than possibly even anybody else. It will really, truly reach them. But more than that, it will really, truly reach you. You see, and I've said this, sometimes even a little snarky. Um, if you don't like your post, why should anybody else? The first person that should give a heart, and the heart does have way more value. The little thumbs up button is pretty much almost nothing in algorithmic weight on Facebook these days. Well, any of the social medias, you know. But if you don't give your stuff a heart, if you don't love what you said, why would we expect anybody else is going to? And if you don't consistently heart up your stuff, if you're not giving yourself the kudos, you're suffering in your own silence. Sometimes what you need to do, and this is really hard, trust me, I get it. I don't really like rewatching myself, but sometimes what you really need to do is you need to binge watch your own stuff. Oh, there's a point there, isn't there? You got to have a bunch of stuff that you put out in order to be able to binge watch them. Now, if you're doing long tail, like what I'm doing in this particular instance, you may only have time to watch one. What if instead of listening to, and I know he's not even alive anymore, but the guy's name that popped in my mind was Dr. J. Vernon McGee, or as he said it, Dr. J. Vernon McGee. What if you just turned on your YouTube, your Facebook, and you listened to you? What if the person that needed to hear what you said today is you next week, you a year from now? That would be worth it too. See, sometimes the somebody that's suffering in our silence is us. You need to capture on the good days, the good stuff, so that you can go back and remember, oh man, yeah, I remember how great that day was now. Now that I think about it, wow, that was a really cool day. You need to also capture the bad stuff. Wow, I was really struggling that day. You need to speak words of life and light. You need to put them out there. Yes, there is somebody that needs it. I guarantee you there is somebody with the 8 billion people in the world. There is somebody that right now, in any now that you're listening to this, live, replay, whatever, there is somebody that's Googling exactly the thing that you are an absolute expert at. They need you to teach them, to train them, to rebuke them even. They need you to give whatever words that are your words that are exactly the answer to what they're looking for. But if you don't speak them out, how can they possibly get it? And that's where that whole phrase came out of a live like this, where I literally said, somebody is suffering in your silence. It jolted my own ears, radically changed my own way of thinking of it. And it was just something that spewed out of my mouth, like all of the crazy stuff that does come out of my mouth does every single one of these days. There's some real gold nuggets and there's some real losers. I get it. Eventually, you will take the whatever length. Obviously, if it's a 5-second reel that you did, you're probably not going to break that up into 5 1-second reels. Hi, how are you? Okay. But if it's a 5-minute, you could potentially have, if you were really articulate, you could have 10, 30-second reels in there. You could have 20 15-second reels. See what I'm saying? Can be repurposed that way too. And then you get it in shorts and reels as well as in the regular video spot. If you can't do 30 seconds, but you want to have shorts, You can go a little longer than a minute if you do it from your phone. It's not about how long, it's about doing it. It's about consistency of your heart connecting with others. Great. Do more shorts. It most definitely is a skill. For me, I was doing them. I've got somebody that's helping me with them now. There are a lot of really great shorts that come out of what I'm doing. It isn't the way my brain works. Whether it be all the speaker training and all the years in the pulpit and all those kind of things, um, I need to kind of process verbally with you on each one of these things every day. And then have somebody. That's why I like having a third party that's doing it now. Because then it isn't me being impressed with myself. That's why I love Descript. I can give Descript a word. What did I say about clarity? Okay, if clarity is the word that we're looking at. And then it just goes through and says, here's 10 shorts that you did that are on clarity. You could, with a long, and I'm talking 30 to 60 minute, video, you could have a ton of, and you could go back through, what did I say about strength? What did I say about, and you could repurpose that one thing, but you want to keep it fresh. Okay. Now, when I was doing it myself, I would take and about one of the long videos that I did a week were the ones that I had time to be able to turn into the one short that I was putting out every day. And now you're seeing that as I've got some people helping me with it, we're putting more out. And if you went to my Facebook or my YouTube or any of those, LinkedIn, they told me yesterday they're going to expand me into Bumble and something else. Okay. And that was all that I could do. And some of them had like 5 really strong things. And some of them had 10. That was then, almost 2 weeks. But then you put it out. You put it out because you want to help to somebody. Easier to make 1 point in 1 minute. Make the 1 point and then move on with your day. What a great way to consistently have it be your miracle minute. Now, you don't have to call it miracle. You could give it a different word. Manifesting minute, mantra minute, moon minute in your case, Patricia. Ooh, that's good for you, Patricia. What if you just did your daily moon minute? With all that you know and all that you do and all that stuff, what if every day was just your daily moon minute? And you just came in, 1 minute, boom, gone, do the rest of your day. Now, the cool part about that is completely unplanned. You also just got a peek into what a clarity session with Steve is like. A whole leadership minute. And it could be leadership, but maybe you want to pull it in a little bit to your brand. I know. That one's going to roll around in your head all day long. And see, this is what we do when we do clarity sessions. And this is how I want to show up in your life. For you that's listening right now. Drop the word clarity and let's get together. Let's talk about where you are, who you are, what you're doing, who you want to serve. I have this capability that's both frustrating as well as really a lot. I mean, frustrating for others, really a lot of fun for me, where something will just come to me like that. I don't know why. I mean, I can tell you that I believe it's God, but it doesn't really matter me explaining it to you. It's just purely and totally, that's the way I show up in the world. I see the possibility. I see the opportunity. I see the next to the up level, the thing that's in the air in front of the bleeding edge of the spear tip or the arrow point. It's just how my brain works. And I want to bring that to bear for you. That's why I come on these lives every day, is just to share a little bit of that crazy brain with you. And hopefully you get some really great things out of it. And the times that you don't, I apologize for that. I'm just showing up and being me. I don't want you to suffer in my silence. I also don't want me to suffer in my silence. The world can so easily con us into shutting up. And they mask it under, do it to protect yourself. Do it so that you're not judged. Do it so that you don't offend others. Do it for all these reasons. And none of them really matter. Because who we should really be speaking it for is for the people who really, truly need it. And if there's one person out of the 8 billion in the whole entire world, and if it's 5 years from now that they get it, that is more than enough. When we begin to take our focus away from the billions of people on the planet, and we begin to just reach out to the one, then we make a difference. And yeah, it is completely and totally okay for the one to be the you. You may need it. You may say something that pops out of your mouth and your ear hears it and you're like, wait a minute. What about that? What if, Patricia, and that could be even fun, Moon Minute is really a fun thing, but the branding around it could totally be that shooting the moon in so many different ways. There's all kinds of angles I can think of with that. You need that clarity, and you need to speak up. We talked about yesterday the whole concept of, you're going to work on it, and your mentor is going to work with you on it. And those are the tools that then allow you to find the real clarity that comes in just doing it. If you're feeling lost, alone, confused, unwanted, unneeded, not valuable, any of those kind of things, the solution to that is really simple. You need to just start speaking up. Say the thing you're afraid to say. Not because I'm challenging you to step out of your comfort zone or any of those kind of things, but just simply because you need it. You need to say it. That's why you're afraid to say it. And I guarantee you there's somebody else that needs to hear it too. You need to embrace what the silence did for you, but what the speaking is going to magnify in you and help transform in others. And I encourage you to do that. I really do. You need a gentle step. You need an easy way to be able to just, step in just a little bit. Step 1, come join us in Visibility Amplifier community. You just go to visibilityamplifier.com and step in. Post something. Ask for permission to get to be able to go live. I've got some ways that I've worked out so that, I can bring you in with this StreamYard or with a Zoom or those kind of things and let you post live. If you need to practice and you're afraid for it to be posted in the group, you can go live with me. I'll even turn off my camera so that you can just literally feel like you're speaking into the void. Whatever you need to be able to be visible and valuable. You need to speak out so that you're not suffering in your silence. The Facebook group also lets you. That's good to know. You need to do it so that they're not suffering in your silence too. It's both you and them. Say it today. Say it loud, say it proud. but say it. Be consistent in your connection and your desire to want to connect with people. I know for me, we've gone 25 minutes and it feels like a hit and run, but I hope you got a lot of really great stuff out of this. I'm here for you. I want to see you take your life to levels that you never even imagined before. Tomorrow, we're going to be back together again in the noon hour Central Time. And we're going to talk about too strong to be vulnerable and tired of carrying it alone. We want to move forward. And we're here with you. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful for you. And I really, really do hope that you're happy, you're safe, and you feel warmly loved. If you're not, please let us know how we can help you really feel and embrace that love that is absolutely yours. And then until we're together again next time, I hope you have a great, 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 great week.